Welcome once again to a new episode of Enwisdomization. I am the Enwisdomizer. To enwisdomize is to make wiser, to make smarter, to elevate our minds, our intellect, our reasoning, our awareness, our consciousness beyond the three-dimensional cognition. Because the three-dimensional cognition is where the multitude, what you call the crowd, the masses, that is where they are trapped, right? People cannot conceive reality beyond the mainstream programming, the mainstream teaching, the mainstream mode of information. And the mainstream mode of information is often a control mechanism because throughout the history of man, throughout the history of humanity, the elite who are often in the occult have always conditioned behaviorally, emotionally, cognitively, historically, they have conditioned the people to be in a level that they want them to be. And the reason we talk the way we do is so we can liberate, we can extricate the minds of people from the matrix. The matrix is a social programming, is a religious programming, is a cultural programming we received from the society, from the mainstream mode of information, which we have never had the opportunity to challenge critically and to examine critically, and which we accept as the fact of existence. So this is the Primordial Wave, and please do subscribe to my channel. Today we are going to decode one symbolism of the Catholic Church that presents the Catholic Church as the great prostitute, the mystery Babylon religion spoken about in the book of Revelation. For a lot of people who are not used to research, who are not used to digging deep into the archives of histories and antiquities and studying the history, the hidden history of the world, statements like this will create an emotional distress when you challenge the assumption, the theological assumption that they have been programmed from childhood to believe. It creates a sort of distress, mental distress, emotional distress, cognitive distress, and they react. They react because throughout the years, the people have been neurologically programmed, have been cognitively programmed, culturally programmed, in the sense that many people who believe in this collection of theological beliefs have never had the opportunity or the time or the resources to examine the doctrines presented to them. They just accept it, they just believe in it. And we are here to examine certain theological dogmas, certain historical informations presented to us, which are lies, and we have to dissect them. We have to separate facts from fictions. So we are going to talk about the Catholic Church. And if you are Catholic or former Catholic or potential Catholic, or if you belong to any Christian organization as a whole, this might present a sort of challenge to your belief. Because if I teach what you already know, if I tell you what you already know, what your pastors, priests, imams, bishops are already teaching, it means there are no new information, there are no new research. And the reason for research is so we find the truth. And the truth transcends any allegiance to any religious organization or institution. The truth is God Himself. And if you find the truth and you refuse to accept the truth, it means God is not in you. God is not in you. If you are Catholic, mostly you've been conditioned through years of catechization and shallow theological, historical indoctrination to believe that we are the true church of God, that God, the creator of multiverse, the creator of the infinite realm of existence, has sanctioned the Catholic, has given the Catholic Church the mandate, the power to lay down doctrines to guide the behaviors and the spiritual existence of man on this earth. And you hear a lot of Catholic Church making mockery, for example, of other churches saying, oh, who founded your church? And when they make this kind of assertion, they are in essence saying that, well, our church is the original, our church is the it. Your church is not it, right? But in my research, all of them has certain degree of deception to it, right? If you belong to the Anglican Church, I'm talking particularly to Africans, because Africans are the most unread, the most backward, the most mentally retrogressive, right? The most economically and politically backward nations and people on the planet. And part of this backwardness and retrogression has to do with the mental conditioning of Africans by particularly the colonizers. We are very quick to discuss political colonization, economic colonization, social and cultural colonization, but people hardly talk about religious colonization, because religious colonization is what affected even the most educated people who consider themselves as paper satisfied PhDs and master's degree, but they are incompetent in terms of cognition, in terms of reasoning, in terms of research, in terms of research, finding out the facts and separating facts from fiction, right? So going forward in the future for Africa to move forward, it means that we have to start challenging all those assumptions provided to us by our rulers, by our colonizers. When the colonialists left, there's something that they perpetually inserted within the cognitive software of Black people, and that is religion. They used religion as a tool of perpetual mind, behavioral, social, cultural conditioning. And it seems Africa is eternally hypnotized by the religion of the Western society. Those in the Arab category believe that the Arabian religion, which is Islam, is the way. Those who believe in Christianity also believe that Christianity is the way. And you have this conflict between Africans who no longer understand the historical origin. They no longer understand their existence. They no longer understand themselves. Rather, they use these foreign tools to measure the authenticity of themselves and their existence. And that is what we're here to challenge. And as I always say, if you are an imam, if you are a priest, a pastor, you cannot stand for Africa, because the ideology anchored within your subconscious mind, the ideology that is sitting within your mind program, is non-African. So you cannot be an authentic African, for example, and be a Catholic priest, because when you are a Catholic priest or an Anglican bishop, for example, your allegiance is to these foreign institutions and foreign elitist controlled channels. If you are an Anglican bishop, it means your allegiance is to who? Anglican. If you are a Catholic, it means a Catholic priest, it means your allegiance is to who? Who? Rome. We're talking of Roman imperialism. So, as I said, you've seen Catholics saying, oh, our religion is the original. And they criticize people like the Pentecostals or the Anglicans. And of course, we know a church like Anglican Church was founded by King Henry VIII when he had an argument or a disagreement with Pope Clement VII over his lifestyle. King Henry VIII of England wanted certain lifestyle, which is a monogamous lifestyle. He wanted to marry more than one wife. And the Catholic Church say, well, this is not according to our laid down marital doctrine. So what did King Henry do? He carved out England from the Roman control. We're talking of Europeans fighting over who controls what, right? So, and Africans, as stupid as we could be, we're following these dogmas, these doctrines, these teachings, right? So, he carved out England and created what he called the English Church or the Anglican Church or the Church of England, right? Now, if you are a Catholic, you'll be saying, oh, yes, I know it. Anglican Church was not founded by God. It was through the perversion, through the corrupt intent of a king that this church came about, right? But not minding the fact that the Catholic Church itself was a creation of the Roman political elite. The Roman political elites created what we call the Catholic Church. Let's go back in time and see Emperor Constantine, who supposedly he saw in a vision where God, he was preparing to go to war and kill people. These crazy guys. He was preparing to go to war and kill people in what historians have come to term the Battle of the Milvan River. So before this war, he was getting his soldiers ready to go for this onslaught, for this brutal massacre of human beings, taking human lives. And he claimed to have seen in a vision the sign that we've come to know today, which has become the global symbol of Catholicism, Pi Rho, you know, P and X, which of course P in Greek is R, Pi Rho. As I said, I become the symbol of global Catholicism, you know, the symbol of Pope, kind of the image, the sigil of papacy. So, Cairo. So, he saw in a dream, according to him, I wasn't there. I wasn't there when this crazy guy was. Emperor Constantine was evil. He was evil. If you read his history, you know, he was a very just like so many other Roman emperors. He was very evil. So he claimed he saw in a vision in the sky a sign was imprinted, or a sign showed up on the sky, and he had like a voice say "In hoc signo vinci" or "In hoc signo vinci," right? And this is Latin, and English interpretation will be "In this sign conquer." And the sign he claimed to see was the sign of the cross on the sky. We weren't there. Of course, Constantine was a genius, was a political genius. He understands that at that time, at that point in time, Christianity was becoming popular in Roman Empire. So he wanted to go, what he called bandwagon movement. He wanted to be part of it because it will provide him the opportunity to centralize his political power, right? So after that dream, he went to war, of course, and massacred a lot of people and claimed it was God who asked him to go to that war and win. So he massacred a lot of people and won the war, right? From that moment, his belief in Christianity expanded, right? His belief in Christian ideology expanded. He became a Christian and he gave Christianity the power needed for a global boost, right? We have to remember in hoc signo vinci, in this sign conquer, in this sign conquer. And they have used the sign to conquer you because they are talking of you, indigenous people. They have used the sign, they have used Christianity as a mode of global expansionism, conquering the land, colonization, killing, rape, subjugation, pilfering, stealing. They've used the sign of the cross, including with the sanction and the blessing of the Pope to conquer you forever, and your mind has been conquered, right? Your mind has been conquered. So Whether you are Anglican, whether you're Pentecostal, whether you are a Catholic, all of them has the imprint of control, the mind control. And the reason you are addicted to some of these foreign religions is because you have not really looked into it thoroughly in terms of research. Many people don't do research. Many people just, church don't teach research. They teach belief. They don't teach reason. Because when they teach you to reason, it means that they can no longer control you. So we are going to explain we're going to pick one of symbolism in the Catholic Church and explain it and see that the origin of this symbol is Luciferian. And many people will be shocked to understand or to know that in Rome, in Vatican, the seat of papacy, the seat of global Christendom, the seat of global Catholicism, is also the seat of a global secret society. Many popes, many cardinals, many priests are in the secret society, are in the Freemason, right? The Illuminati, the global secret society that controls humanity, Illuminati was founded by Adams Weishaupt, who was a Jesuit, And up to today, there are many cardinals, there are many people, eminent people within the Catholic ecclesiastical hierarchy that are in the secret society, And this is not confined to Catholicism alone, other churches as well. We see that when King James Bible, the version of the Bible we call King James, was written, many of these theologians were in the secret society, including who is this guy that helped in the translation that wrote the New Atlantis? He was the one who, for those of you who study philosophy, he was the one who wrote the Novel Organon. Francis Bacon, who was part of the translation of the Bible, or what you call the new version, the King James version, was in the secret society. So the influence of secret society, of the Rosicrucians, of the Hermetic Order of the Golden Dawn, of Freemason is immense. I'm seeing a butterfly. I don't know how a butterfly entered my house. Okay, so let's continue. It's trying to distract me. So the point I'm trying to say is that the masses, what you call the laity are ignorant people. The laity are sheeps. The laity are sheeple. Sheeple, people who cannot reason, people who are being led, people who are being controlled, people who are being directed, because the elite, the occult Luciferian elite who control both religious, political, and economic system, see the people as sheep. And literally, they call them the Goshen. What is the Goshen? Means the sheep, the cows, the useless masses, the eaters. That is how these elites see you. And if you're an African, they have so convinced your mind to believe that when they choose Pope, it is the Holy Spirit that chose the Pope. Oh my goodness. You Africans are the most backward group of people on this planet. Your mind is hypnotized and you cannot get off of the hypnosis, because they also convinced you that without believing their doctrine, you're going to hell, and you have accepted this stupid doctrine. You have accepted the doctrine. And I've said in one of my videos about what you call the Patriarch doctrine. The Patriarch doctrine has to do with the very idea that before Jesus died, he gave the power over to Peter. It's called the Patriarch doctrine, where I think Matthew chapter 16, verses 18, where Jesus supposedly said to Peter, "You are Peter, and upon this rock I place my church, and the gates of Hades in Greek means hell, or the underworld. I say, the gates of hell shall not prevail against it. Whatever you bind on earth shall be bound in heaven, and whatever you bind in heaven shall be bound on earth." And I've said how many theologians, many scholars have come to establish that that particular phrase in the Bible was added there by church fathers intentionally inserted in the scripture as a way to consolidate global power, global ecclesiastical power of control. Excuse me. So the intention is to create what we call papal infallibility. And papal infallibility means that the Pope is infallible, quote unquote, when he is acting in the capacity of his office. He is infallible. So this is part of the mental control, you guys, Africans. This is part of the mental control. The consolidated power, European secret societies and the elites who control these institutions have consolidated power for themselves and control you and put you in everlasting perpetual slavery. You can no longer free yourself because you believe that Jesus said that to Peter, and you're so scared to death to question some of these assumptions because you don't do research. You don't research the hidden part, the occult part of the world, the hidden history of the world. Because once you begin to research the hidden history of the world, you are going to unleash and expose some of these lies in history. Some of these lies in history. So let us go straight and talk about the topic for today, which is the mystery Babylonian aspect of the Catholic Church. Literally the mystery Babylon, the prostitute who corrupts the world, right? I know if you're Catholic, you're probably going to be worried. Like, why is he saying that? We've been taught, we've been catechized that our church is the original. Read this book. I give a lot of recommendation. Read this book. It's called Caesar's Messiah, the Roman Conspiracy to Invent Jesus. The Roman Conspiracy to Invent Jesus. A very dense book. I'm talking of total pure research, facts, right? Facts, not fantasy, not your feelings, not your beliefs, right? Facts. And the author is Joseph Atwill. Joseph Atwill, he told you how the Flavian family is a Roman, Caesars or Roman emperors who conspired with a Jewish elite. Josephus Flavius. Remember, Josephus Flavius was a Jew, but he adopted the name Flavius. The last name became Flavius because he was being utilized by the Roman political elite. The Roman political elite were geniuses. These were political intellectuals. These were masterminders. These people were so astute in their political organization. So when at the time that Christianity was being formed, something was going on. At the time that the Roman emperor occupied Judea, right? Something was going on. Group of what you may call rebels or radicals were fed up with Roman colonization. They were fed up with Roman elites colonizing them. So they wanted to drive Roman colonization away from Judea. And they formed a group called the Sicarians. That is where the name Judas Iscariot. Judas Iscariot or the Sicarians are people who fight for like freedom fighters. These are a group of radical revolutionaries who were killing Roman soldiers, who were waging guerrilla wars against the emperor of Rome, against Roman government, against Roman military presence in Judea. So that is why when you read the New Testament is very sympathetic. For some of you who are researchers, the New Testament is highly sympathetic to Roman government. If you read it, I'm not talking of people who just go to Bible schools, because these people lack the intellectual capacity. And come on, as Africans, we have to shed off this stupidity, because that's how we're being controlled. And that's how all over the world. You are not recognized. You are not validated. You are seen as childish because your mind, your intellect is not evolved. Your intellect is in a very retarded state. Everywhere on the street is Christianity, mushroom Christianity, proliferation of Christianity. But then your society is the most backward, which means there's something you are doing that is not working. There's something you are doing that is not working, and you have to give it up and try something else. Because people who gave you these religions are 1,000 years ahead of you in mind control, right? They behaviorally conditioned you to behave the way you do today. And why their political chain of colonization has been taken off of you, the religious chain is still in your mind. And unless you get rid of the religious mental colonization, as Bob Marley say, emancipate yourself from mental slavery. None but ourselves can free our mind. None can free you. You can pray from now until eternity. Your society will not evolve if you do not start doing research. If you do not understand how the world works, your society will not work. So the reason that when you read the New Testament, it's very sympathetic to Rome. And I'll give a few examples. In the New Testament, you see where the writer was saying, if somebody slaps you on the right cheek, please turn the left cheek. This is Rome speaking. This is Flavius Josephus, who was a Jewish intellectual writing. He was a mental conditioner. That is why they created the image of Jesus to be this passive man who is almost like highly effeminized, emasculated man. But original historical Christ was a radical. He was a radical. He wasn't this passive person who, if you slap him on the right, you turn the other one. It was Roman government who inspired that writing because they were trying to make the Jewish Sicarian revolutionary passive, right? That was one of the reasons that Christianity was created in the first place. You see again where the New Testament said, if anyone asks you to carry his load a mile or a kilometer, please go 2 miles, go 2 kilometers. Again, Rome was writing this. It wasn't Holy Ghost in the Bible. Why? Because at that time, the Roman law, remember, Rome was colonizing Judea at that time. And the Roman law made it, there was a law that a Roman soldier or a Roman official can see any Jew walking on the street and compel them to carry their load wherever they are going. It doesn't matter if this Jewish person has business to attend to. No, if a soldier, a Roman soldier who is colonizing your land, calls you, come and carry my load, and I'm going somewhere, you are going to compel to do that. And that is why they wrote in that if somebody asks you to carry his load for a mile, go 2 miles. It was Rome speaking, because Rome wanted to maintain the hegemony. It was a Roman political colonialist ideology that was speaking. And there were many, many, many other things in the scripture like that. For example, again, where Jesus was supposedly said, how many of you here who are parents, if your child asks you for food, are you going to give him a stone? Or if he asks you for fish, are you going to give him a scorpion? And unless you study history, scorpion in the Roman terminology at that time means was kind of a weapon. It was like a cannon, or like a weapon. That's what the Roman people called scorpion in those days, right? So I think my point is that the Roman, the New Testament is highly, highly, highly sympathetic to the Roman government. You know, there was also a place in the New Testament where you say, slaves, be obedient to your master. This is Rome speaking. This is Roman ideology speaking. It wasn't for the Jews. And if you go and ask any Jewish rabbi, any Jewish scholar, any Jewish intellectual, he will tell you the same thing I'm telling you. And these are the people who wrote the Bible. Well, I'm drifting before I go to decoding the symbol, occult symbol of Catholic institution. I will show you a few books that if you are interested in research, you might check them out. This book is glitches. There's glitches in my stuff. The Occult Renaissance of the Church of Rome. The Occult Renaissance of the Church of Rome. We're going to decode certain symbolisms. Nobody's going to teach you this. The occult symbolism of the Church of Rome. Get this book by this guy has written so many books, and it's brilliant, right? Michael Hoffman, The Occult Renaissance of the Church of Rome. The Occult Renaissance of the Church of Rome. Please read this book. Another book to get is The Christ Conspiracy, the greatest story ever told. And you see zodiac astrology here, and you're going to decode some of these things you guys believe as Africans, as daft as you could. The white people are the ones who brought these documents to us, and they're also the ones who are telling us the truth. Like, we brought this to you, but we know is mind control. So the writer of this book is, there's a glitches in my, the writer is Akaya S. I think this is a pen name. This is not her original name, but this book is dense. If you want to understand reality, read this book. Again, this book is dense. Who is this King of Glory by Ivan Boyd Kuhn. His name is Ivan Boyd Kuhn. Who is this King of Glory? There's a lot of glitches in my stuff. Read this book. Very nice book. If you want to understand the archaeological evidence that validates some of the point I'm saying is here. Archaeological evidence, right? The Bible and the ancient Near East. The Bible and the ancient Near East by Cyrus H. Gordon and Gray Rendsburg. Nice book. Nice book. Some archaeological evidence validating the plagiarism that the biblical writers committed in terms of copying things from other cultures and claiming that it was God who gave it to them. Read this book as well. The Secret History. Oh, this glitches is driving me crazy. The Secret History of the World. The Secret History of the World. Very nice book. Very dense with information. Mark Booth has written some other books, including some other political books, The Secret History of the World, because what you are being taught in schools and in religions are what you call the exoteric. Is the plain knowledge, is what everybody understands. But if you really want to understand the world, how the world works, you have to study the hidden, the esoteric version of the world. The true knowledge lies in the esoteric, in the occult knowledge of the world. Occult simply means the hidden, because these people are hiding this information, right? In order to control you, in order to cage your mind in ignorance, because the elite see you as a Goshen, as a cow, as a sheep, as the masses, as the useless consumers, right? So you have to understand how the world works. Again, Zachariah Sitchin, Genesis Revisited by Zachariah, oh my goodness, by Zachariah Sitchin. He has written so many books. This is Genesis Revisited. And what this guy talked about, he talked about, God coming in the Garden of Eden and creating man purely copied from the Sumerian culture. That which was written in the Bible was purely copied from the Sumerian culture. Again, the secret societies. Read this book, The Secret Societies by David Barrett. David Barrett, The Secret Societies. Read it. The Serious Mystery. The Serious Mystery. Very good book. Any African should, in fact, anyone should get this book. The Serious Mystery by Robert Temple. Robert Temple. Again, a very important book for any African to have is this book. Christianity before Christ. Christianity, these are researchers. These are not baby, these are researchers, you know. Christianity before Christ is trying to tell you that the redemptive act, the redemptive doctrine we've been taught in Christianity, to show you facts, was an astro-theological concept copied from multiple other cultures, right? And again, this book here, the gods of Eden, who are those beings that are called Elohim, who came in the quote unquote in the Garden of Eden and created humanity? Who are they? Who are they? You need to know. Okay. We're done with introduction. So I'm going to go straight and decode for you the reason why when you see people say that the Catholic Church is a mystery Babylon, they're not just quote unquote attacking the Catholic Church. You believe they're attacking the Catholic Church because you are limited in research. You're limited in knowledge. Because if you understand the other history of the world, you have not been taught, you have not been catechized, you have not been theologically indoctrinated, you will see that there are a lot of esoteric symbolism in Catholic Church that is very Luciferian, the worship of Lucifer. So in essence, the leads of the church ecclesiastical organization are not allegiance to God as you think. Their allegiance is to Lucifer. And that is why, you see, even if you look at, I've studied a lot of symbolism and occultism for a long time, the history of occultism and the signs and symbols, and I can look at certain signs and symbols and tell you where it is coming from. You see, if you go to Rome, you see the pillar at the center of St. Peter's Square is the Egyptian obelisk. And it cannot be there if secret society is not there. Fact. It cannot be there if secret society is not there. Another one is in Washington, D.C. Another one is called the needle of what is this Egyptian, the needle of Nefertiti, I think like that, in England. Another one, those tall pillars. Another one is in France. Another one is in New York, right? In the Washington, D.C., they call the same pillar the Washington Monument. These are symbols of secret societies. So there are secret societies in Rome. Secret society, the symbol at the center of St. Peter's Basilica in Rome is the symbol of the Egyptian obelisk, which signifies the Ben pillar. The Ben pillar is the phallus. Phallus is the penis. It signifies the penis, male genitalia. Let me not drift. So let me share a brief briefly my slide. Okay. Roman Church and Luciferian symbol. Lucifer is the fallen angel. How is Lucifer connected to the Roman Catholic Church? Here, we don't care about emotions. We try to find out the truth and we speak the truth. The truth is greater than all religion. The truth is greater than any political affiliation. Truth is God. Truth is the divine, right? So don't let anyone convince you that if you don't follow their theological doctrine, you are going to hell. That is a mental chain. That is a mental slavery. That is a mental colonization to colonize your mind. Remember, the creator, the prime creator, the source of all things, who created this vast, infinite, endless multiverse with billions and trillions of star systems, with other life forms existing there, will come and cage himself within a human constructed theological doctrine. How stupid is that? How stupid is that? So liberate your mind from these fears, because these fears will cage your soul. There's a reason why these Luciferians want to cage your soul. There's a reason why they want you not to know, because they want you to vibrate on a low frequency. And when you die, your soul will be recycled in the three-dimensional reality. But when you die, you're supposed to vacate the three-dimensional reality. But they don't want you to vacate. So they teach you Lucifer doctrine camouflaged as divine doctrine. And if you don't know, you don't know. If you don't know, you don't know. So let's go straight. This is the planet, the morning star. Morning star signifies Lucifer. Lucifer is the light bringer, right? Is the one who brings light, right? That is Luciferianism. And as I said, a lot of Luciferianism, not just in the church, but also not just in the Catholic Church, but in the church as a whole, in the ecclesia, the church as a whole, a lot of Luciferian principles. But we've been taught that, oh, this is the way, and it's the only way. No, they've conditioned and bound your mind to Luciferian doctrines, right? Lucifer is a feminine energy, and that is what a lot of people also don't know, because Lucifer, let me backtrack. Lucifer is an androgynous creature, an androgynous entity. So it's either male or female, but mostly identified with feminine energy. And this planet, the planet Venus, is a symbol of Lucifer and the Luciferians, those who are Luciferians, those who are diabolical, those who follow the doctrine of the fallen angel. Remember, Lucifer is a fallen angel, right? The fallen angel. So Lucifer is also presented as the goddess in the Sumerian language. What is he called in the Sumerian language? Nihusang. In ancient Sumerian language, Lucifer is Nihusang. Lucifer is the goddess Ishtar, from where you get your Easter celebration, right? Fact. Easter celebration, right? Lucifer is the goddess Semiramis. The goddess Semiramis is what you have in the United States, I think in New York, as as a statue of a woman with a torch. What they call the Statue of Liberty is the statue of Semiramis. Semiramis, the torch is carrying is signifying the Venus, the light bearer, right? The morning star. It means that Lucifer is the bringer of light to humanity. That is what this secret society who control the world is trying to tell you when they have the statue of the goddess Semiramis or Ishtar in New York, right? Because those who instituted those symbols are in the known, they are in the occult, right? If you see also the cinematographic symbol called Columbia Pictures, you see a woman raising her hand, and there's a light emitting from her hand, right? It's also symbol of Lucifer or Luciferians. They tell you that people who control this dimension, people who program the world as you know, are Luciferians, right? They are Luciferians, including those in the Catholic Church, in the Catholic hierarchy. If you're Catholic, I know you wouldn't like to hear that, because you want to be in the illusion that your church is the original. So the symbol that I'm going to decode is the symbol of the god Dagon. If you see one of the symbols of ecclesiastical authority, the papal authority, Pope's power, or the bishopric authority, is the symbol of the mitre. The mitre is the long hat that Catholic authorities put on when they are functioning when they're acting in their official capacity. You see them wearing the fish hat. I call it the fish hat. And many other researchers understand what I'm talking about, right? The fish hat, called the Catholic mitre, right? It came from Mesopotamian occult mystery religion. From the Mesopotamian occult mystery religion of the god Dagon. Dagon is an amphibious god of the sea. an amphibious god of the sea. And when I say the amphibious god of the sea, I'm talking of who? I'm talking of Lucifer. So the heart that the Catholic popes, in fact, other popes as well, I mean, other bishops and other clergies in other churches are beginning to mimic Catholic Church to wear this funny fish hat. This came from the Mesopotamian. When I say Mesopotamia, I'm talking of those regions of the Middle East. I'm talking of the Babylon, ancient Babylon, the home of Marduk. Marduk is Satan, right? The Sumerians, the Akkadians, those regions, this regalia, this attire, this outfit, this clownish outfit they wear, the Catholic Roman ecclesiastical authorities came from the Dogon religion. I mean, from the Mesopotamian religion, and they copied it from who? Remember, it's not copied, because people who perpetuate these things are Luciferians. People who brought these things to the church are Luciferians, because you don't know that the popes, many popes are Freemasons, many popes are in the Occult Secret Society, many bishops, many cardinals, many priests are in the Freemason. That is what nobody is going to teach you. And to understand the morphogenesis, the evolution of Catholicism, you have to understand, study very well something called Mithraism. The religion of Mithra was very prominent in the ancient Roman Empire. Religion of Mithra, or Mithraistic religion. Mithraistic or Mithraism is what you call the salvific religion or the redemption religion. Mithra was part of that ancient mystery system, mystery occult initiation, right? Mithra was born of immaculate conception. Mithra was tempted by the devil. Mithra taught in the temple at the age of 12, right? Mithra was betrayed. Mithra was crucified. Mithra conducted Paschal mystery, right? Which later Christian theological articulators organized and had part of this ancient mystery religion in the canons of the New Testament, right? It takes deep research to find all these things out. So, but the main topic today is the god Dagon. The god Dagon is also called, I don't know if I'm going to say this name right, Honest, Adapa, Iona, Opkalo, Abgal. Wherever you see this name, they are talking of the same entity. Remember, this is an anthropomorphic conception, but they are talking of the fallen angels. So when they say the god Dagon, this amphibious creature, even though they anthropomorphize, even though they are depicting these gods in terms of anthropomorphism, they are talking of literally the fallen angels. They are talking of Lucifer, right? They are talking of Lucifer, the fallen angel, the morning star, the light bringer, right? Esoterically. So you see, the mitre of the Pope was fashioned after the occult esoteric symbol of the god Dagon, and the god Dagon is a fallen angel, is a low density realm controller. This is what you call fallen angel. All the regalia of the Catholic Church, that's why a lot of people believe Catholic Church is the mystery Babylon. The mystery Babylon, because its principles, its rites and rituals, if you understand it from antiquities, from where it was copied, you see that these were occult. See, the fish, the mitre of the Catholic Church and other churches who are beginning to copy Catholic dressing mode, these came from Dagon, the god Dagon, and the priests of, Dagon, not Dagon, Dagon. And again, who is Dagon? Dagon is Lucifer, is the Lord of the sea. In the Sumerian language, Sumerian culture, Dagon is called the Lord of the fresh waters, the Lord of the Apsu. From the Apsu that you get the word abyss. Apsu is a terminology that came from the ancient Sumeria, because the ancient Sumeria was a highly advanced civilization, and most of the things written in the Old Testament were copied word for word from the ancient Sumerians, right? From the ancient Sumerians, including the story of Noah. I'm going to talk about this because this is one of the most interesting ones. Some of you who are Christians, who are Jews, who are Muslims, you've been taught about Noah's flood. I'm not saying, denying that maybe 12,000 years ago, there was a massive global flood. But what I'm trying to say that what was documented in the scripture, in the Old Testament, as the story of Noah was copied, I said, word for word from the culture of the Sumerians. So it was not a Jewish invention. The Jewish scholars, the Jewish elites, the Jewish rabbis copied the story of Noah from the story of the Epic of Gilgamesh, or the story of the Atrahasis, word for word. I have evidence, word for word. That is why I say you Africans have to begin to do research. Your mind is under the invasion. There is a parasite in your mind that conditioned your mind never to research. And that is why you don't grow. That is why your leaders are daft. Your leaders are daft because you are daft. Because your leader is a product of you, right? We have to begin to challenge those assumptions given to us by these controllers. So let's move forward. So whenever you see Catholic priest or any bishop or pope dressing like this, you know they are following the doctrine of esotericism, of the occult. They are following the doctrine of Lucifer, the doctrine of Luciferianism, because the Lord of the Abyss, who is Enki. Enki is the Lord of the Abyss. This is the Dagon god or the Dagon priest, right? This symbol, and Dagon, Dagon is the Lord of the Abyss, the Lord of the underworld, and that is Lucifer. Some people call him the god Leviathan. And Leviathan is the ancient dragon, is the ancient serpent who live at the bottom of the sea. And remember, when they say sea, they're not just talking of the ocean as you know. They're also talking of entities who came from the star system Sirius. These are fallen angels who control certain dimensions, who are space invaders, who colonize and who invade and colonize multiple star systems, including our own star systems. And that is why their symbolism are all over the place in religion. These are not your true God. These are fallen angels. These are demonic Luciferian principles. These are satanic principles. These are the forces of Satan, satanic force on the planet, using this symbolism for the control of the people. So whenever you see your priest, your bishop, your pope wearing this clownish fish head, this is where it came from. This is ancient Babylon. This is ancient Mesopotamia. This is ancient Sumeria or Arcadia, the Middle East, occult, purely occult. The mitre is the fish head, plain and simple. You see, this is the priest of Dagon, you see? So this opening here signifies the mouth of a fish, because fish, they are talking of the god Dagon. The god Dagon is Enki, the lord of the abyss, the lord of the fresh water. Enki is Lucifer. Lucifer is the light bringer. In Greek mythology, Lucifer is Prometheus, and Prometheus is the giver of life, fire to mankind. And in Greek mythology, when they say that Prometheus is the giver of fire to mankind, what is fire? Is knowledge, scientific knowledge given to humanity by the fallen angel, right? So when you see the Catholic ecclesiastical authority, because I challenge every Catholic to research the origin of this funny hat. It's a fish mouth, it's a fish head they're wearing, which is a symbol of Luciferianism. Research before you argue. You see, don't be daft. Don't be stupid. Research before you argue. Because I've done the research. Not one day, not 2 days, not 1 month, years of investigation into this indoctrination, into this mind conditioning of the people. And you see why the masses are following the wrong doctrine. And there's a purpose, because the fallen angels want humanity to be under its hegemony forever and ever, and to recycle your soul within this physical dimension. That is why they have to create dogma. I don't believe in dogma. They create a collection of rules and call it dogma. You have to be bound by dogmatic principles. No, my soul transcends dogmatism. My soul transcends dogma. You don't want to cage my soul here in the third density, in the third plane of existence with your dogma. I transcend that, right? I transcend that. You cannot frighten me with quote unquote, you're going to hell, because you are already putting people in hell by not teaching them the truth, right? By lying to them. That when you see their Pope wearing this, they're following Lucifer. Is a symbol of Enki. Enki in the Somali language is Lucifer. These are the Anunnaki, these are the fallen angels. These are the fallen angels. It's a fish mouth. Can't you see that? It's a fish mouth. The mouth of a fish. And that fish is the amphibious creature who came from the underworld, who came from the star system Sirius. Some of them came from the star system Orion, right? Some of them came from the star system Orion, you see? So this cape you see always bishops wearing signify the fish skin of the Dagon god, or of the priest of Dagon in antiquities, in ancient time. You see? The mitre is the fish head. The mitre that the popes wear is the fish head. These are facts. These are facts. I'm not trying to hurt anyone's feeling, but we have to speak the truth, so that when you give your allegiance or your soul to these people who condition you and make you believe that you're following true God, you know that you've been deceived. It's a global deception. And that is why I keep preaching here. I've been saying it over and over and over and all the time. We have to rise beyond the three-dimensional cognition, because the 3D cognition is where millions of souls are trapped. Millions of souls are trapped in imprisonment of fear, of conditioned trauma that they are unable to free themselves, right? You have to listen to their encyclical. You have to listen to their authority coming from who they told you who they are. Remember, the laity, what you call the laity, don't understand these things. And many priests and bishops don't even know what they are doing, right? It's not they are doing it conscious, but the top Luciferian elite understand this. They know what is going on, because they are allegiance to the doctrine of Lucifer, and they're the ones who control the world. They're the ones who rule the world, who impose these doctrines and these esoteric symbols on the people. Because when you are looking at the bishop or a pope wearing this, you don't know it consciously, but your soul subconscious mind understand it. The subconscious realm, your unconscious realm, your subconsciousness understands that you are following the doctrine of Lucifer, right? It understands it. Again, you see the cape flowing down. See this cape here flowing down signifies the fish. The fish. They are telling you they are following who? You see, the mitre is the fish head. Pure and simple. Just as I have told people that at the end of prayer, when you say Amen, many Christians, Muslims, everybody says Amen at the end of the prayer, right? And if you ask the most brilliant, quote unquote, priests or pastor, those who are intellectually and historically aware, they will tell you, well, it means so, let it be. But that is not true. That is a lie. Amen is the ram god of the ancient Africans, the Egyptians. That is the god Amen. Amun or Amen or Ami. So you see how they put esotericism, they put the occult and give it to you as a religion. How many millions of people shout amen, not knowing that you're invoking the God amen? You're invoking the God amen at the end of the prayer. That is how they condition you to be on a low vibration. Knowledge will free you. Information will free your soul to understand the truth, to understand that what you've been taught is not often the truth, that you've been conditioned to believe in doctrines you've never had the capacity to question. In the Western world, all over the place, you see that in certain Masonic libraries, there are books hidden about the true history of the world, hidden on the ground underground that you don't have access to. I don't have access to. And these are containing the true history of mankind. The reason they give you the Bible is a watered-down astro-mythological interpretation of reality, pure and simple. Astro-mythology. And when they teach you, for example, in the Bible, Jesus fed people with two fishes and 5 loaves? Is it 5 loaves and 2 fish? Yeah, 5 loaves and 2 fish. What are they talking about? Astrotheology. It's not to be taken literal. Because the time 2,000 years ago when Jesus was supposedly on the planet, what happened? The sun was in the constellation of Pisces, the fish. If you check zodiac astrology, you see 2 fish. 2 fish as part of the zodiac wheel of time, right? So this is what it means. He wasn't feeding people literally, but they've convinced you that he fed people literally, but they're talking mythologically. They're talking esoterically, right? And all through the Bible, and the Bible is a book of zodiac, a book of the zodiac, astromythology, Tabibulus, Helios Bibulus, the book of the sun. Holy Bible literally translates as the book of the sun, Helios Bibulus, the book of the sun. So again, when they teach you the story of Samson and Delilah, again, they are talking of they're talking of astromythology. Samson is Shamash in Greek, in Hebrew. Delilah is the planet Venus, who is Lucifer. Do you understand? Do you understand what these people have done to your mind and to your consciousness? Right? So let's not prolong this. It was supposed to be a very short, quick one. Again, you see, monitor, whenever you look, you go to church, and the bishop is raising his hands, opening his arms, appearing holy, and say, speaking, chanting, and wearing this fish head. That is a Lucifer symbol. No, that is truth. That is a fish symbol. And the fish is the god of the abyss. The god of the abyss is Leviathan. Leviathan was written in the Bible as the great beast, the great serpent coming from the bottom of the sea. But they are speaking anthropomorphically. But what this signifies is Lucifer, these fallen angels who dwells in the sphere of the planet Sirius, or the Draco star constellation, or the Orion star constellation. Most of the demons, or what we call the entities that control this dimension, are coming from these constellations. Sirius star constellation. Sirius is the symbol of the goddess Isis, or the goddess Semiramis, right? Or the goddess Ishtar, right? Or the goddess symbol, depending on what culture you are looking at. So again, whenever you see your pope, your bishop, you know that these people are not holy like that. Has nothing to do with holiness. It has anything to do with Luciferianism. I can't say this enough, but the people's mind are locked and they believe they're going to heaven when they die. No, somebody's leading you to hell. They're deceiving you. The elitism is deceiving you. The institution is lying to you because you do not understand the occult or the esotericism or the hidden symbols that rule the world. Symbolism is something every single person on this planet needs to learn to decode. Because if you decode symbols, you know that these people are all over, they rule the world, whether in the political sphere, whether in the economic sphere, whether in the religious, they rule the world. Just when you look at the symbol of World Health Organization is a serpent on a stick. I discussed this in one of my previous videos. Snake on a stick. Again, Luciferianism, because this dimension is governed by fallen angel. That is why the Bible says the God of this world has blinded them. Has blinded them. What did he say? The God of this world. Because this realm is a fallen realm, and this realm is controlled by the demiurge and his archons. The demiurge is the fallen angel, right? The symbol is everywhere. Okay? There is a tribe in West Africa. This tribe is 500 years above the greatest professor in the African continent today. This tribe possesses knowledge that even the modern Western astronomers, the greatest scientists, are just beginning to find out. This tribe is called the Dagon, or the Dogon tribe of West Africa. They live in Mali. For thousands of years, these people, without any modern equipment or telescope, have understood the constellation of the star system called Sirius. Star Sirius. As I said, the star Sirius is the symbol of the goddess Isis, or the goddess Isis is the goddess Ishtar, or the goddess Semiramis, or the goddess Symbol, or the goddess in Sumerian language. This goddess will also be called, what is it called in Sumerian language? It's called Nehusang, the same goddess. So what I'm trying to say is that the Dogon tribe of West Africa who live in Mali possess ancient knowledge which they reveal to the next generation through initiation, through initiatory process. A few years ago, when the European anthropologists begin to interact, begin to have contact with these people, they trusted one of the anthropologists to reveal to them their knowledge, their deep knowledge of astronomy. How did the Dogon, quote unquote, primitive society in Africa understood the constellation of the star system, Sirius? They told you the Sirius is a triad star system, Sirius A, Sirius B, Sirius C. And they told you that the Sirius B is a star system that has bond, that utilizes energy and is now kind of exhausted its fuel and has become dense. It's very heavy, right? How did they know this? We know from studying history that the Dogons has certain knowledge they got from the Egyptians. The Egyptians are some of the greatest people on this planet, ancient Egyptians. I'm not talking of, because when you look at the current day, what we call the current day Egypt, these are people who live in Egypt now are not the ancient Egyptians we read in the Bible. The ancient Egyptians, of course, we are black people. We know that in the later time, the Greek, during late antiquities, Greek people start invading Egypt and then colonize Egypt, and we see the Indo-Europeans mixing up with indigenous people and eventually wiping out, pursuing the indigenous people out of the land. But we know that the Dogons of West Africa, possessing this great astrological versus and astronomical knowledge, they got it from the ancient Egyptians too. They also told you that about the amphibious angel or the amphibious god who came from the star system Sirius, right? They call this god Nomor. The god Nomor was the one who brought fire to them, who brought knowledge to them. The same thing that the Greek people spoke about in their mythology, saying that Prometheus obtained the light or fire for humanity. That is what these ancient Dogon people who had expansive knowledge of the star system are telling us. They talked about the god Dagon, still the same god we've been discussing about in the Mesopotamian, Babylonian culture. They say the same thing, that this god represents the fish, is an amphibious creature. In today's alien, when people talk about alien, these will be your reptilians, your upright walking serpent. They are the fallen angels. They are humanoids. They are serpentine beings who came from the space. That is what the Dogons of West Africa told you, right? And the point I'm trying to say is that history is consistent, that when you see this Catholic clergymen, Catholic ecclesiastical hierarchy, Catholic ecclesiastical regime wearing this tall mitre, they are following the Luciferian doctrine. Plain and simple. Do your research and stop arguing. Just do your research, right? So, again, you see, the symbolism is everywhere. The symbolism is everywhere. To summarize this episode, whenever you go to church, you're sitting in front of a bishop or a pope, you see this hat. They're talking of the fish god Dagon. And it's a symbol of the Lord of the sea, the Lord of the abyss, the Lord of the underworld, right? They're not literally saying about the fish. They are talking of amphibious reptilian creature, alien, fallen angel. That is the symbol they have on their head. The symbol of authority is Luciferian principle, the Luciferian symbol. Not just fish. They're talking of fallen angel. They're talking of Lucifer. They're talking of Enki, the light bringer. That is the symbol of the authority of the church. And that is why I say the Catholic Church becomes the symbol of the mystery Babylon spoken about in the book of Revelation that corrupts the soul. Corrupts the soul. A few years ago, I wouldn't be able to talk like this because, like every other person who is religious, I was indoctrinated. I was indoctrinated into, from the time I was a child, you go through the process called catechization, catechism. And catechism works just like the Islamic Quranic recitation school. Imagine when you are 5 years old, when you're 6 years old, you go and teach. You don't understand theological concept, and they don't teach you theology. Recite, and memorize. Memorize. That is one of the greatest tools of mind control, just like in Islam. You go to Quranic school, you don't really question. You recite and memorize and remember. At that point, you cannot critically evaluate what you're being told. You just believe in it, right? I went to theological school, for example. I did not understand this because at that point, you have to be allegiant to the institution. The defense of the institution is the foundation of clerical teaching or religious teaching. You defend the institution. And if you dare not defend the institution, you will be judged as a rebel. But now, as an independent thinker, I can do my own research and not allow the system to control my mind. Remember, the system that runs this plane of existence for people who understand your occult, who understand the hidden nature of existence. You know that we live in the third density level. And some of these beings I'm showing you, remember, even though these are anthropomorphism, anthropomorphic is like using symbol to represent something deeper. You know, using like anthropos means man in Greek. Anthropomorphism, using human language or human image to represent that which transcends human knowledge. That is what anthropomorphism means. Anthropos and morphism, right? So even though they present these entities or these beings as amphibious sea creatures, as the god of the underworld, but they are talking of fallen angel, they are talking of the demiurge, the demiurgic forces, the satanic forces who governs from the fourth density lower to the fourth density. Some of these beings, some of these entities live in the fourth density level. And these beings are what is controlling humanity. That is what is controlling the world. And that is why I say that for your soul to maintain higher degree of evolution, You must escape the three-dimensional cognition, because if not, you can go to church from now until thy kingdom come. Your soul will not evolve. Your soul will be stuck in the astral plane with demons. Your soul will be molested with demons. Your soul will be molested because the collection of information you have is a false information that cannot free you when you die, or when your soul when your soul exits this physical body. And I'm going to stop here. Please do subscribe to my channel. This is the Primordial Wave, and I am the Enwisdomizer. Don't forget, to enwisdomize is to make wiser, to make smarter, to elevate our minds beyond the minds of humanity. Humanity is your enemy. Humanity is your enemy. That is why you need to elevate your consciousness, your soul, beyond the collective consciousness of humanity. I'm signing out.